Hello, Internet. I just wanted to talk about the state of my home server at the moment before talking about the actual main machine. We've got the router. I'm on AT&T fiber. All I've done is just set up IP pass-through to that machine over there, and it works. Just a normal residential ISP provided router. I'm in the Oklahoma City area. It's been working just fine. Network-wise, it's only connected via Wi-Fi. As I make upgrades, I have different machines that I'm gonna put here. We'll connect it to Ethernet, but right now, Wi-Fi has been working fine for me. Now to talk about the actual machine right here. It is a legit gateway computer. Let's take a look at the stickers in the back. As you can see, originally ran Windows 7. I inherited this old machine. It's a Gateway ZX4800. As you can tell, it was manufactured in January of 2010. So it's newer as far as Gateway machines go, but Gateway nonetheless. Pulling the machine back up. Alright, and then I installed Alpine Linux on it. First I installed Ubuntu, and this machine ran it pretty well. I started my SSH server there and kept going more. Found out about Alpine. It runs very, very minimally. Most of that memory is probably from the Bitcoin node. And after reading about Alpine Linux, I installed it. Just TTY, no GUI or graphics, anything, since it's just running as a server. Things have been going pretty well. The services I've got running, firewall, the SSH, that's just a custom script to fill out the screen. The Git daemon, light HTTPD as a web server. And then obviously I've got the Bitcoin node running as well. This old machine's not working very well, but it does work. I don't have my wallets on it right now, but I'm able to do transactions on it from my phone, SSHing into here and doing it, which is pretty fun. So yeah, in my serve web directory, I've got two websites that I wrote myself. The first one is a personal one about me, need to update it, and then just a simple tic-tac-toe, so you can go, I bought a domain that goes to this IP address, the one that the router is routing me to, hodgdon.net. I use Gandhi as the domain registrar, and it's been working pretty fine. It is on the pricier side, but not out of reach. They have a sandbox environment too, that's pretty fun to work with, so I'm probably going to stick with them and continue on. As long as I'm not buying a ton of domains, then I think paying extra is fine. The light HTTP config script, and I've also got, let's see, am I on my, I also have being served through the HTTP server is Git, my Git profile, that we'll get to with the Git daemon. It'll just see Git is what I have running. I haven't customized too much other than an icon. You're also able to do HTTP Git cloning using the native Git interface, or native Git HTTP backend, not the cgit one. I don't know which one I'll want. You can't upload or push code through the HTTP daemon yet. I don't know. I also have each of my subdomains, so you're able to, with Gandhi, set each subdomain, the SSL certificate, handles all that. It works well with CGI. Then I have just a dev one. if I want to change what I'm working with, I can just do whatever I want in this block and test it out basically live, which is pretty fun. I don't have to worry about things crashing. It's working over IPv6, but that only works in my local area network. My router's blocking incoming IPv6 stuff. It was working, but then all of a sudden stopped. That's what's fun about networking is unlike programming things error and it'll let you know, but networking things just stop working, which is fun. All right, so if you go to git.hodgdon.net, you'll see my current public-facing repositories. Those are served out of serve/git. All of these should be available as a mirror on my GitHub as well, but it's nice to be able to have that here. You're able to do some interesting things. So these would be public-facing ones, which I'm able to push to because I've got my Git user set up. That's how it works, and it works over SSH, being able to push and pull things to. The Git daemon works by just allowing people to pull the code, and so it's nice to be able to work with all of those public open source licenses by getting it to people. So most of these stuff was before I knew about licensing. Some of these have the appropriate licenses. The 3D models, that one's written a lot with OpenSCAD. That's the one I've done the most public facing stuff with. You have the stuff to my website, which is also on my GitHub. Also have a neural network written in R. And then I also have that tic-tac-toe game code, and then a Python version. Right now it only works on Windows, and I'll probably delete that share. On the private side, so I'm able to, with the Git daemon, point to here, and then all of the private stuff can be in a different place in the machine as long as it's a bare repository. So I'm able to have notes. I want to make these etc files public, but there's some private things in it. But I think that light HTTP config, I think it would be helpful to share that kind of stuff. .files repository, I keep that private as well, and some other stuff, tutorials that I've worked on. I have it sorted by user in the Git home directory, but as I'm working more with Git work trees, I find it a little bit easier to work directly in bare repositories, and then I get weird by working with rsync, uploading and moving uncommitted code, which is a way to increase commit quality, I think, because instead of having to move stuff through commits, you can just move it without it being committed, then you can test it, and then you can commit only tested stuff. It's kind of weird, but once you get the hang of things, it's pretty fun. I also have the SSH serve, and it's going over to a public IP address, but things have been pretty good with just normal SSH security. I do have a firewall that will enable port 22 to be open, so you can literally see all these guys asking to get in, but they're not able to get in. That's kind of why I chose Alpine Linux. It was security through minimalism, and the SSH bugs that were discovered last year. Alpine Linux was vulnerable to that XZ backdoor because it doesn't use the XZ library through OpenRC, and the regression bug because it uses Musil-C. So that and both them and OpenBSD weren't vulnerable to those bugs. So that's kind of one of the designs I have going forward, is setting up an OpenBSD server as a reverse proxy. I did have IPv6 set up, or right now this machine does, and then I closed the IPv4 port 22, and then all of these people nobody not at all. All these are IPv4 addresses. So SSHing over IPv6 was pretty nice because I had nothing to worry about. I probably should set up tar pitting on the IP tables, but we're telling all of you can see they keep going. It's I mean, IPv4 addresses, I mean, script kiddies can just loop through and find open ones. I've got a banner that maybe it grabs attention, but because I tell everybody, hey, I'm on this machine, I'm just learning. Godspeed, being nice, but I will actually say when I did have this set up running Lubuntu, or the lightweight version of Ubuntu, I set up my SSH, and instead of key authentication, I was using password authentication. I made sure nothing sensitive was on the machine, and I set the password to admin, and the user was admin. So really easy to guess. It took a bunch of people would do and then keep going, but about 10 hours in, one person got in, and they were in there for about 5 minutes, and they did only one thing. They changed the password, which was just funny to me. They couldn't really do anything, but that was the one difference I was able to find. I got to mess with the raw etc password file to fix the password, and I was back in, uninstalled Lubuntu, installed Alpine Linux with all the correct security stuff, and then yeah, I haven't had much to worry about. I don't think, as long as you have your SSH keys protected, these people aren't getting in. It's just funny when you connect things to a public IP address. But yeah, I would prefer closing the port 22 on the IPv4 and then only doing IPv6. But once I set up a reverse proxy, I'll probably figure out what SSH tunneling is about, and let's see, beginning, and then yeah, that's the thing about learning, is you can just make mistakes and you're fine. Nothing in production is super worrying, and you're able to have fun and learn a lot and continue to grow. That's about it. Let's see. And lastly, we'll show you guys the status of my Bitcoin node. Right now it is syncing. It fully synced on this machine at one point in time. It took about a month. It's really old, so it's supposed to take a few hours from what I've read. So right now, it's not doing a full node, it's just a pruned node, but it's still going through the entire blockchain. And so I wrote a Bitcoin wrapper script, so that way I'm able to load environment variables like the password, wallet info, address, and then yeah, works pretty well. Get to learn a lot about shell scripting. Able to download the Bitcoin source code because it's got some administrative stuff in there, and but it's currently active, running. It's probably taken a toll on this old guy, but I don't have much else running, and so not noticing much of a production hit, so that's fine. It's a home lab. I don't have any wallets loaded, which is most of those errors. But yeah, I'd probably get a personal Bitcoin node, probably to run not connected to a public one. I'd like to get some extra, as I get extra computers, probably have some more personal stuff able to not be publicly accessed. I mean, you can't access it. I'm able to, the RPC only works on the local host, or it works connected through an IPv6 address on my local area network. So the RPC server can actually work on this public IP address. However, if you did somehow SSH into this, and you knew my encryption passwords, and my wallet was loaded, then you'd have access to my wallet. So, but again, that's the thing about having a home lab, is you can test, make mistakes. I guess not too big of mistakes, but yeah, you are able to make those decisions for yourself, and that's pretty rewarding that you can do it. Anyway, yeah, there's no extra power thing. I haven't invested in a surge protector. I should probably get a very small one going forward. I'm thinking a battery backup. This thing does go down if the power goes out, but that's all right for me because it's not hosting anything important. I'd like to get into email. But I'm still working on other things, learning a little bit about OpenBSD. I'm just testing that on my laptop. So, but yeah, that's the current state of my home lab. Learning a lot about Linux. I got 2 of these old small mini PCs, and that will probably fit next to my router over there. And then I won't have to, I can probably transfer this to be a client machine somewhere in the house, probably for the kids to be able to use there. And, but yeah, I've got 2 of these. I'll probably set up, like I said, OpenBSD as a reverse proxy to the other, which will be running Alpine Linux for sure. But yeah, it has a lot more. Yeah, I'll be able to see what these do. I've looked at rack servers, but anyway, I should probably stop rambling. I'm sure you guys are mostly interested in the gateway machine, the fact that obviously all the services I'm running are a little bit more programming centric than not so media centric as I've seen others go with. I'm not much into video editing. I'll probably put this together on my phone with iMovie, but I'll probably learn other softwares. I really have to stop rambling. I have to get better at communicating. Anyway, it's a legit gateway machine. Thank you guys for watching. But yeah, just wanted to show it off before I upgraded, migrated, just to let you guys know that you really can use old hardware, Wi-Fi, no power backup. You can learn a lot. Get an SSH client on your phone. Oh, before I go, starting the rabbit hole into SSH, there's a gamified tutorial called Bandit by overthewire.org. You actually use SSH to get into their machines, their servers, and walk you through how to use it, and they've gamified it. I didn't play it all the way through, but if you want to get started, I'd highly recommend it. You can do SSH daemons on Windows, and it's really cool to be able to run different operating systems. But anyway, I'd go check them out if you're going to go somewhere to get started. Anyway, thank you guys. Bye.